The Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
Right on cue, tracking some snow that could bring a little bit of holiday cheer to you, I guess, depending on how you feel about snow, but also a little bit of chaos out on the roads, especially if you're traveling. Thanks for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Sarah Sanchez, and Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is joining me now. Rachel, some students were getting that extended break in some parts of the country, but what's our situation going to be like tomorrow with this thing?
I mean, and I think that there are a lot of students that already have a half day. So because this snow is going to be starting in the morning, it'll be interesting to see what superintendents try to do. This is a busy travel day any way you slice it.
Sure is.
And with snow coming in, that could slow you down. So snow will begin to develop between 6 to 8 a.m. and it will be light. Is it going to be impossible to drive? Absolutely not. If you leave yourself some extra time and you use your winter weather driving skills, you should be great. It'll wind down as we head between 6 to 8 p.m. and it should be light enough that road crews should be able to keep up with this. I also wanted to let you know that temperatures will be climbing above freezing for most of the state, with the exception of northwestern Connecticut, so that will also help roads as we head through the afternoon. That being said, there could still be some slippery spots, especially in the morning before those temperatures climb. And again, we'll be watching for any school issues. If you have kids, just make sure you have a plan B just in case. I think that there might be more school closures in western Connecticut where the snow arrives earlier. Coating up to an inch or two possible if that system's a little bit more paltry and has less moisture, or if temperatures are a little bit warmer. It's just going to be a slushy coating out there. But if it's a little bit more moisture and a little bit colder, up to an inch or two possible, maybe even close to 3 for northwestern Connecticut. We'll walk you through this whole system, plus a follow-up one after Christmas coming up, Sarah.
Thank you, Rachel. Work on a wind farm off the coast of Rhode Island is halted once again. The Trump administration said today it suspended the project and 4 others because of national security risks, though it did not exactly say what those risks are. It's been a months-long back-and-forth battle between the Corps and the White House over Revolution Wind. 2 weeks ago, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from freezing all federal permits for wind projects, both onshore and offshore. Supporters of the project, including Connecticut Attorney General William Tong, say this was another attack against clean energy.
This is a project that has been vetted, examined, every rock overturned. We already beat you on this issue. A court has already told you no, and yet they're trying it again.
President Trump has been hostile to renewable energy and prioritizes fossil fuels to produce electricity. He said wind turbines are ugly, expensive, and pose a threat to birds and other wildlife. Senator Richard Blumenthal says stopping Revolution Wind is a tremendous waste.
In the midst of the coldest months of the year, when electricity prices are rising, the administration is making power even more costly. It is putting thousands of people out of jobs during the holiday season.
Blumenthal also said if there's classified information, he wants to see it. The offshore wind project is nearly complete, and it's expected to power 350,000 homes by the end of next year. 20-year-old man from Glastonbury died after a crash between a car and a CT transit bus in Newington. This happened Friday night, East Cedar Street near Lowry Place. Police say Zachariah Burlipsch was rushed to the hospital where he later died. The bus driver was hurt but is expected to be okay. 2 passengers on the bus are also okay. New London police have identified the motorcycle rider who died in a crash yesterday. Officials say they found 43-year-old Shane Elliott of Salem hurt on the New London shopping mall, or at the New London shopping mall, that is, at 2:30. He was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. Police say another vehicle was also involved in that crash, but it's not clear. The driver stayed on scene. We have some new developments tonight in Meriden. The teen who was detained by ICE just days before his high school graduation is coming home. That's according to the advocacy group Connecticut Students for a Dream. 16-year-old Kevin from Francis T. Maloney High School has been in ICE detainment for the last 6 months in Texas. On Wednesday morning, lawmakers, attorneys, community members, and advocates will gather to welcome him home. We're unsure how this will all come together. We have calls out to learn more. Hartford police say a man in his 40s was shot early this morning, but we are told he's doing okay. The shooting happened on Benton Street. We're not sure what led to that shooting. Police have not identified any suspects. Hartford police are also investigating a shooting that happened Saturday night. One woman was hurt in this one. We're told she is only stable. She's only listed as stable right now, so we're not getting an update on how she's doing. The shooting happened on Barber Street. Police say a man was shot at a Bristol home yesterday afternoon. Officers were called to Vance Drive around 2:20 in the afternoon. It's not clear what led up to that shooting. Police say it was an isolated incident. Well, we have a protest this morning, video of it at least, that happened right outside the Department of Social Services to fight against federal funding cuts to SNAP and other welfare programs that many Connecticut families say they rely on. Two nonprofit groups that support people experiencing homelessness and financial hardship rallied. They're demanding the state do more. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson was at that protest to hear what exactly they're asking for.
Dare to Struggle and Homeless Liberation Connecticut gathered here outside of the Department of Social Services to deliver a message to state lawmakers that welfare programs should be expanded upon, not suffering more cuts.
When the state makes cuts to SNAP, what do we do? Stand up, fight back!
Protesters made their voices heard outside of the Department of Social Services Monday morning.
Stand up, fight back!
DSS estimates 36,000 people in Connecticut could lose access to federal government food assistance. Kimmy Reindl believes these cuts are wrong.
SNAP and Medicaid, these are programs that people rely on to survive. So we're here to mob up and make sure that these cuts are fought against.
On November 2nd, SNAP work requirements changed. Now adults age 18 to 64 who don't live with a child under 14 and are able to work must meet strict new requirements or risk losing benefits. That means working, volunteering, or taking part in job training for at least 80 hours every month.
These requirements are hitting people who oftentimes cannot work, and they're the most vulnerable people in society. So people like the homeless, veterans, parents, the elderly.
Some have already lost or seen a reduction in their benefits, and more of the same is expected coming into the new year until March 31st.
On a day when I was supposed to receive my food stamps, only to find out my balance was zero.
We also want to demand that people continue to have access to SNAP, that these cuts stop, but also that these programs are expanded, because even the programs before the cuts were inadequate.
During the government shutdown, a bipartisan emergency response fund was passed, which allowed Governor Lamont to allocate funds to areas of need when the legislature was off session. On December 18th, the governor allocated those funds, and more than $24 million is headed to food banks and pantries to help increase their capacity to serve those losing benefits.
We met up with people who are waiting in line at places like soup kitchens and food pantries, and what we were seeing were the length of the lines were like no one's ever seen before. Protesters
believe the allocated funds are a temporary solution, but they hope more people join them to permanently fight against hunger.
We want to invite anyone who cares about their neighbors, cares about other people, to join us, including people who work here at this DSS office.
Now, Reindl said that this is just the first protest of many. They hope that this is a stepping on point for many others to kind of join on the bandwagon for what they're hoping to accomplish here in the state, and hoping to have a lot more protests coming up into the next year. In Hartford, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
If you're heading to the airport to catch a holiday flight, make sure that you're prepared and you have a plan. Fox 61's Joe Montes at Bradley International Airport with some good advice.
There are a number of things you can do to make your commute through the skies a little easier. We put together a list of some of those things for you coming from the TSA and from Bradley International Airport. Let's start with some of the most obvious, and we'll work through the list. Starting off, it's important to make sure your tickets are completely squared away before you leave the house. You don't want that to be a thorn in your side when you get to the airport. So just make sure they're all checked and squared away and it's exactly what you're looking for. Also, make sure you have a valid ID ready to go. Now, when packing for your flight, the TSA recommends starting with an empty bag. You're less likely to pack something that isn't allowed on planes and will get you held up in a checkpoint. If you're bringing gifts, the TSA recommends putting them in bags or boxes with easy to remove lids so they can be checked with no trouble. You certainly don't want to bring wrapped gifts, because chances are they'll have to unwrap them to check them. Once you're ready to go, get to the airport early, 2 to 3 hours early at least, and plan where you're going to park. I spoke to some people this morning, early morning travelers. They told me about their experiences so far at the airport and even had some recommendations for some of those who are still planning to get out soon. Take a listen.
Pretty great so far. It seems like it's moving pretty quick and no issues.
Definitely sleep earlier, have breakfast.
The earlier you go, the less traffic and less people you've got to deal with.
Definitely checking online to see what kind of the current trend was for what people were experiencing, looking at whatever like travel tips they had.
Get out there as soon as you can.
Volumes are expected to be high, and getting through the airport can be very time-consuming. AAA predicts an almost 3% increase in air travel in the state, with more than 118,000 people flying for the holidays. So busy, busy. And at Bradley International Airport, they offer a concierge service. It's recommended for people who are first-time flyers, families, the elderly, and people with special needs, and more. A team member will help you get from when you get to the parking at the airport to getting on the plane. If you're interested in that service, you can check Bradley International Airport's website. They have more information on that. You'll have to make a reservation if that's something you're interested in. And, you know, sounds kind of stressful, the holiday travel, but enjoy it. It's once a year, and it's a good time of year. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. For now, Bradley International Airport, Joe Monty, Fox 61.
Thank you, Joe. Well, an 18-year-old woman is expected to be okay after she was hit by a pickup truck in Seymour. Police say she was hit around 6:30 last night while walking on Bungay Road. They say a white or gray pickup got close to her and she was hit by the mirror. The driver didn't stop. The truck was last seen on Mountain. Police are looking for the driver and the truck. They say the passenger side mirror could be damaged.